You need me to talk and smile.
There we go.
That's what I like to do, JJ.
And we have the harps on the you know, the little thumbnail that shows the thing when it goes up onto YouTube. The little thumbnail will be of you and your smiling little mugs right there. So yeah.
I gotta run. I gotta run, guys. I gotta drop water off. I just wanted to jump on here and say hi to those awesome faces, and hopefully we'll see you soon. You're the man. You're the man. Both of you guys are. Love you guys.
Have fun out there, Loretta.
Love you, Loretta. Be good.
Love you too. I will.
So anyway, yeah, we're finally rocking her live. We're recording, and everybody, welcome to the Kong Family Show. We are the Kong family, and we have this really simple goal. We just want to change the world. And hey, Sean, how is it that we're doing that again? Sean.
One glass of Kangen water at a time. Excuse me while I whip this out.
Yes, sir. One glass of 9.5, one lightning bolt in a box, and one awesome, incredible individual and one amazing family at a time. We are rocking the world. And he's excited to having the graces of Mr. Philip Harp jumping in on board today to share a little bit of magic with the family and give us an idea of his story. And so, Phil, you're in Arkansas, correct?
Yes, sir. Northwest Arkansas.
How's things down there in the South in old Razorback country?
Oh, man, it's good. It's all good, JJ.
Awesome.
Spring is hit. We had a bunch of rain the last week or two, and but we got good weather ahead.
Yeah, that's
a beautiful part of the country.
Awesome. Yeah, water's a good thing to have. We just happen to have the best water that there is on the planet, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, so that's awesome. So the weather's good, and you guys got to meet old Sam Tran last week or so.
We did get to meet Sam Tran back around the end of March. That guy's phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to take a little 4-hour drive, go up to Twin Falls this Saturday and go see him and go get to meet him myself. I'm really excited about that. I'm like, hey, if Sam Tran's 4 hours away, I'm going to see him.
Oh, it'll be worth it for sure.
Exactly. I'm really looking forward to that. And so, yeah. But
anyway,
so I want to ask you, we might as well get this ball rolling. I want to find out a little bit about your story from the past. And, the first question I love to ask everybody that comes in here that's gracious enough to come and give us some of their time is I like to know how, why, and when they got involved with Kangen water, and were they a skeptic like I was? Because I was a big time skeptic, and I cost myself 6 perfectly good Kong months of my life. And so I like to find out how people were and interested. Most of the people that come in here, they were just like me. They were skeptics too, but not everybody. And so I'm curious, what's your story there, brother?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, probably real similar to yours, JJ. I was skeptic. And I'll tell you this, most of the people that we visited with since then, they're like us too, and they're somewhat skeptical because it's foreign to them to think about water other than just water. So I tell people all the time, it's okay to be skeptical because I was, and just be open. But my story started 11 years ago in June of 2008, almost 11 years. Next month will be 11 years. I've had my SD 501. I got invited to a presentation here in Northwest Arkansas. My third cousin wanted me to come to this water presentation. And I was not interested. My background is the retail grocery business. I was in the retail grocery business for 26 years, and I thought I knew about water. We had whole aisles of water. We had distilled water, mineral water, spring water, reverse osmosis water, vitamin water, but I'd never heard of Kangen water. But to be honest, I was not interested at all. And the reason why, John, or J. John, is that I was not a water drinker 11 years ago. I was a coffee and soda junkie. I drank coffee and soda all day long, and I really realized water was boring to me. And I was relatively healthy. So if you think, you know, it's not broke, why are you going to fix it? You know, I didn't feel sick when I drank my Mountain Dew. It tasted pretty good, felt pretty good, but I was not in the right mind, right? I was just like a sheep going along like everybody else. And so water was not on my radar, but he was persistent. And now Loretta, you all had her on a while back, so there'll probably be some similarities in the story, but she was the water drinker of the family. We were total opposites, black and white. She drank nothing but water. I drank everything but water. But long story short, kind of, I wound up going to that demonstration. Well, this is what it was. I really just told him, I knew it was some kind of water filter. And I told Loretta, I didn't want to go to the presentation. Most people don't like going to presentations and being sold, right? So, and that was me. And I had a job. I wasn't looking really. I mean, I would like to do something different, but I didn't want to go. So I told Loretta, I said, I'll just buy one of those filters and he'll get credit. So I told Sam that I said, hey, how about I just buy one of them? You get credit if I buy a filter, right? He goes, yeah. I said, well, why don't I just buy it? And then I won't go to that meeting. Would that be good? He goes, well, yeah, if you want to do that. That was before I knew how much they were. So then he told me the price of the machine, which he told me the SD501. He goes, well, it's $39.80. I said, I'll go to the demonstration. So I told Loretta, I said, there's no way I'm going to spend $4,000 on a water filter. I said, I'll go and he'll get credit for having a guest and it'll all be good. So that's where it started. Guess who was doing that presentation? Did Loretta tell you? But she probably didn't tell you. Michelle Rayleigh. She'd come over from Tulsa, and there's about maybe a dozen of us in this little old dank hotel room. And she did a Kangen water demonstration, and I think she hadn't been in less than a year, I think. But she did it, and I remember I learned two things that night. I learned that Loretta, my wife, who I love, was drinking bad water. Okay, and I learned that we were eating contaminated produce. So that got my attention. I was the guy who went in there with my arms crossed and, okay, let's go through your presentation. I'll be done and I can get on with my evening, to leaning forward a little bit, paying attention. And the vegetable deal, when they did the tomatoes and passed the tomatoes around, that I couldn't believe that, because I wasn't really a health and wellness guy, but I did eat produce, and our kids, and more importantly, we fed it to our kids and grandkids. And so that disturbed me. So those were the two impetuses at the time for me to go ahead and purchase the Kangen water machine. And I was hesitant. It was, as you know, the price was a big hurdle to overcome. I did like probably most people. And I got online because I'd never heard of Enagic. I'd never heard of Kangen water or an ionizer. And so I did a little research like about everybody else I know, and kind of got sidetracked. I'm thankful today. I'm so thankful. I kind of went with just my gut, because at that time you could get online and you could get something just as good as Enagic for half price or less. And that's pretty appealing to me. You know, why don't I? But as long as I didn't do it, I just thought there's something to it. I said, everything I looked at, they're all comparing themselves to Enagic. So there's something to it. And I just kind of went on faith, and I bought that silly machine a few weeks later. And that's been 11 years ago. But I was adamant, JJ, that I was not going to do that Kangen water business, because they told me, hey, if you get a machine, you can get it free if you tell a few people. I said, I'm not telling anybody. I don't want anybody to know how crazy I was for spending $4,000 on this thing. But you see, I hadn't really experienced the value, right? But when we put it in our home and started using it, and to be honest, I didn't drink it when we hooked it up. Loretta drank it. I made my coffee with it, and I was impressed. I mean, it makes awesome coffee. And we cleaned our produce. And that was about the extent of our use of the machine. But something happened for the people that know about this, is that the water will change your life, even if you don't drink it. Because I watched what it did for Loretta, and she got some fantastic results changing the water she was drinking. Changing from drinking our filtered tap water to Kangen water, and I couldn't really hardly ignore that. And a second thing is, I watched a few of my friends that had the machines, because I knew a couple guys that had machines. Danny Daniels. And if you ever met Danny Daniels, he's a hoot. You got to meet him. He's a -3. Let me turn my phone down here. Anyway, so I was kind of watching these guys, and one guy in particular kept in touch with me. He, let me mute this just a minute. I'm sorry about that. We would talk every once in a while, and this guy was like a year younger than my mom. He was an older guy, but I'd known him for a number of years, and he got a machine when I did. And he wasn't going to sell them either, but he was like 70-something years old at the time, and he went back. He got great health results. So he went back to his little town. He lives over in Marshall, Arkansas, in Searcy County, which I've since learned is the poorest county in Arkansas. And Sam West he said, he started giving that water away just as a service, not to even sell, because he had friends that had health issues. He said, Philip, when people get my age, most people got something wrong with them. And so he started giving the water away, and before too long, people were wanting to buy the machines. And anyway, in about a little over a year and a half, Sam West had become a 6A2 in a Nagic, this 72, 73-year-old man that I knew personally. And he called me in March of 2010 and told me, he's always calling me and saying, Philip, he goes, how you doing? He goes, you giving any of that water away? And I said, no, Sam. I said, I'm not even drinking the water. I said, I can't. But he would tell me his success and the people that he was helping. And this was the significant thing about Sam West. He had no financial incentive for me to ever sell a Kangen water machine. I wasn't in his lineage, okay? So I was impressed with that, but he kept telling me, man, you need to check this out. This pretty good business. And he knew I was not happy with what I was doing. So he just talked to me in March, and it got my attention. He told me some people they'd helped, and he told me, Philip, let me tell you something. He goes, I've been in business 50 years. He said, and since I've been doing this Nagic business, he said, I've never helped more people. I've never had more fun, and I've never made more money than I'm doing right now. He goes, you're missing the boat. And he was just pretty matter of fact with me. And then he told me how much money he had made the previous 4 months, and I could not believe it. After I quit laughing, I go, you got to be kidding me. And he said, no, he goes, I got the checks to show you. I said, all right, Sam, you got my attention. I said, what exactly are you doing? He said, I told you what I've been doing. Last year and a half, he gives out the water. That's how there's a lot of different ways people do the business now, and there's a lot of good ways, but we were the old-fashioned way that we would give people the water and get them hooked on the water and let them sell themselves on the machine instead of me selling them. Because I'm not a direct sales guy. I've never really been I was in the grocery business, and people came to us. We didn't have to go direct sales. So anyway, just based on that, I told my wife, I said, you know what? Sam West is out there changing lives, making a fortune. I said, I got this machine. I told her, I said, she came home that day. I said, man, we got the golden goose sitting right there on our counter and didn't even know it, and I told her about Sam, and I told her I was going to go for it. I said, if I can do just part of what he does, I'll be a lot better off than where I'm at now. And that's how I got started in April of 2010 in the business. So the business took me about a year. I'm like you, you wasted 6 months. I wasted almost 2 years. I look back, but you know, I needed to go through that process, I think. And it's all good because the last 9 years have been such a blessing for us, and just such a blessing of the people's lives that are changed. We now have, my first goal obviously was I wanted to get to 6A because that's where I got the most commission for my efforts. But we've now gone on to where we're at 6A 4-2. We got 22 6As on our team. A few of them I haven't even met. That's how this business works. And we've not set any records. We've been at it a long time. I was talking to Michelle Rayleigh earlier today, and we're talking about these people going -2, -3, -4 that have just been in a year or two, you know, that they got a different system, and that's all good. They brought a lot of enthusiasm and excitement to Enagic, and it's all about getting that SD 501 or K8 or whatever they choose on their countertop, you know. So it's been a wonderful journey. I can't imagine doing anything else. I really can't. I was doing a presentation the other day, and it feels nice to say, you know what, I ain't even had a job in 9 years. And I just can't imagine going back and working for somebody else when this is so much fun, so rewarding. And anyway, there you go. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
That is some awesome sauce right there, buddy. You know, it's amazing how much of that kind of stuff we get to hear, because you know, the thing is like Sam Tran said, the motto of Kangen Water is change your water, change your life. It's not change your water, change your job. It's not right. Change your water, change your friend, change your water, change your wallet, change your water, change your house, whatever, you know, it's change your water, change your life. And it's just so incredible watching this all unfold day after day after day after day. People whose lives are changed, and always for the better, always. And yeah. You know, we're in a position where we get to say to people, and I get question marks about this all the time. People ask me what I do for a living. I tell them I change lives for a living. And they're like, what?
I like that.
How do you make money doing that? Well, you know, here, check this out.
Yeah. Let me walk you through that process.
Exactly. And you know, for me, the big part that changed everything for me was a story. It was, you know, my buddy Tim was putting all these videos out and all this information out about all these facts and figures and all the data and all that kind of stuff. And all that stuff just went in my one ear, out my other, in my one brain cell, out my other brain cell. And I just, none of that even mattered. And then all of a sudden that day came where Brittany Dykes put up that incredible story of hers, where she was literally every morning when she woke up, she would pray that she would die that day. And every night when she went to bed, she would pray that she was going to die while she was asleep. And because she was so miserable with her life, she was on all these medications and everything else. She couldn't do anything that she wanted to be able to do anymore. And she was just flat out miserable. She wanted to die. And so that really caught my attention. And I got to thinking about my own mother, and that changed everything. And so that's part of the reason why I had to come up with the idea for doing this, is I just realized that stories are so powerful. And some stories, you know, it might be that a health story is what's going to wake somebody up, like it was for me. And it might be a wealth story, like for you, where you weren't happy doing what you were doing, and now you're in a position where you're just as tickled pink as you can be, and living a life you probably never even dreamed of, and all that kind of stuff. And so, do you have any more? I'd love to hear a little bit more, if you've got anything more to elaborate on as far as your wealth journey, you know, as far as getting yourself out of your job and And, you know, maybe because you've already mentioned that, but what about other people around you? You have any good stories to tell in that department?
I do, but what you were saying is so true, JJ, about a story is what usually is going to get somebody, like you said, whether it's health like Brittany's. And, you know, after 9 years, I know there's so many similar stories like that. And you do too, where there's just people's health has changed and their wealth. Ours, I mean, we're not at the top of the money chain at Enagic by far. We're not even near close, but we did. And does this go like out on YouTube, you said?
Yeah, we are going to be putting this up on YouTube when it's right now it's recording to Zoom, and then after it's done, they'll send me the recording. And
well, you know, we're not really supposed to talk about money, but I'll say that I don't even know. Yeah, it's fun to talk about the money. But, you know, there's, I also know because of the compensation plan, your rank is it's kind of a telltale, but you can be a -2 and be making a little money or a lot of money. There's probably 682s. Yeah.
You gotta meet my sweetie.
Hi there.
This is my sweetheart. This is my better 99.9%. This is Tina. And sweetie, this is Phil and Dan, and you know,
awesome.
Paul. And anyway, she's got to head off to work. Give me a kiss. Love you, sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Sorry about that, Phil. I always got to introduce my sweetie when she comes in the house because she's so special. She's a pretty amazing lady. I got to tell you this. I always have to do this when I get the chance because, you know, my sweetie, she's been working at a local grocery store for 29 years. And in 29 years, she's called in sick 3 times.
Wow.
29 years. And, you know, my goal, one of my dreams and goals that I have written down on my vision board is to get my sweetie out of there. I want to get her out of that place so that she can be home all the time with her kitties and chickens and bunnies and doing things she loves to do. So, yeah, that's where this is going to end up leading. That's for sure. And so
I'll tell you, that can happen. That can happen.
Interrupting you there. So, but yeah, continue on. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you know, I was compelled to do the business because I needed a business. Okay. But it wouldn't have just been any product. This product, it was a combination of the product and the business, I think, because the product was just so powerful and what it had done in our lives personally. So I knew it was important that like you mentioned your mom, here I'd had this machine for a little bit, not understanding it, but my mom was suffering with some health issues. And once it clicked with me, I was just slow getting it, you know, but once I clicked with it, I said, my mom needs one of these machines, you know, because I was convinced that. And so that's kind of how it started. We started with family and friends, but, you know, we've got to be 6'8". I've had 4 of my frontline people go 6A and beyond. One of them's a 6'8". No, we got 2 frontline 6'82s. One of the 6'82s signed up a guy that went 6A in a year. That changed his life, you know. If you'll let it, if you're open, this company, this mission will change your life in more ways than one. And it's just, I'm so thankful to Mr. Oshiro for, everybody says that. I really am. We met him a number of times. We've been to Japan twice, Okinawa, for the conventions. And if you've put that on your dream board as a goal to get over there and see the roots of Enagic, because it's just, it's very humbling where all that came from. And to think that they're selling 15-something thousand units a month now. And read Mr. Oshiro's book if you haven't done that. But so we've got lots of health stories. We got people that have been able to leave their JOBs and just building magic. And it's just a lot. It's very rewarding. I couldn't have done that in my job. I couldn't have played a part in helping somebody else attain their version of freedom. You know what I mean? You can't do that in a traditional job. And with this, you can serve people. You can make an impact. I firmly believe that we're here to serve. And so whatever that looks like for you, I think this is a good vehicle to accomplish that goal, you know?
Yeah, well,
I just remember, hey, JJ, this is so funny. I remember Philip and I were sitting in Orlando, Florida. I think it was 2012. We were talking about I'm just going to say it, our whorishness to pop. And we were almost like a couple of embarrassed little kids, you know what I mean? We're just like, oh, man, yeah, I used to drink Mountain Dew and with 44-ounce jugs, and I'd get 2 of those a day. There wasn't nothing wrong with me. I just had allergies. I just had low back pain. That's all part of life. That's all part of being normal. Until we started. So the similarities were hilarious. We just kept, except for he was shorter and better looking than me, but we were kind of twins in our experience of things, man. So it was just funny. I'd never met the guy. Didn't know him from Adam. We're sitting at some after party, kind of getting the little shindig going on down there, and we're just sitting around laughing at like the things that we used to think were the deal. And you talk about being 40, 30 some years old, and for me at the time, and just having your paradigm completely rewritten. I mean,
for sure.
And we weren't even trying to, you know, and it was just funny to talk about that and how we just crushed the pop. Now then I started looking at the bromelized vegetable oil, and I just can't believe how oblivious I was. And it was just funny that we had that conversation, and he brought it up right away. And every once in a while, I would cheat on Mountain Dew, and when Mountain Dew wasn't looking, I'd go sniff around a nice, fresh, crispy Coca-Cola. Just didn't want her to see it, you know. Now I can't even fathom it. I tried having a Coke about a month ago, and I got through like 3 drinks, and I thought my stomach was going to explode.
Oh, man, yeah. It's bad stuff.
Yeah, I just had to share that because I remember that, and we were just giggling, making fun of ourselves, really. You know, grown-ass men drinking pop like we just left the candy store and had a bunch of dimes in our pocket, you know.
I hear you.
So, yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I haven't drank a Coke or a Sprite. You know, my evening beverage of choice was always whiskey and Coke, and or whiskey and Sprite, and I haven't had one of those in over 2 years now. When I found out just how bad that stuff is for my body, I just couldn't stomach it anymore. And after these 2 years of cleaning off vegetables and such, I still can't get used to it. Every time I clean off vegetables and I see the goop that comes off of them, it still grosses me out. Even though it's been 2 years, I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times now, it still makes me sick every time I see it. And
man, it is so important for people to understand the importance of cleaning their produce. I'm stronger. Even that was one of the reasons for me getting the machine, and even just recently, as the last week, I just got reminded of how stinking important it is. You know, JJ and Sean, I think y'all know my buddy Ian Rude.
Yep. Not yet, just online. But yeah, I need.
Yeah, okay. You got to meet him. You'll jive with him, dude. But he's putting together a little booklet where he's gotten these studies showing what's on your food. And it's listing just different vegetables, strawberries, tomatoes, grapes, different stuff. And it lists out each individual chemical that's been identified contaminating that. And it's unreal. And people, you think it's no wonder people are sick. And I just feel so fortunate for me being so skeptical and second guessing about getting that. I'm so thankful that I just pulled the trigger and did it because, to be quite honest, I did experience health issues after the machine because they manifest themselves, they don't just because in time. And I honestly don't believe that I would probably be sitting here talking to you today if that water machine wasn't in our home. It played a key role, a very key role. And so I'm just eternally grateful. And I think people need to know about it.
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, Ian's going to be gracing the Kong Family Show again this Friday. You've
had him on here.
And he's coming on Friday to talk about what he does and give us kind of a demonstration of, I've nicknamed him the Voltinator.
I saw that.
Because he uses voltage and Kong's water to literally bring people back from paralysis and such.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I am just so curious to see exactly what he does. I'm so grateful that he's part of the family. The information that he is sharing, I think, is going to touch so many lives, and already is. And
yeah,
the stuff that he has to offer is as powerful as it gets. And we are, it's really exactly what it is. The people that I have met in the Kong family have just been so incredible. It's by far and away the most amazing thing that I've ever seen in all the different things I've done. Because I call myself the serial entrepreneur because I've been self-employed since I was 19 years old. And
oh man,
now I'm 53 years young, and I finally ran into my mission in this world, and I've been searching for it my whole life, and I just can't say enough about it. And just people like yourself and Dan and Sean, Sean and I we always yammer about this, how we're not on the same squad, but we're in the same league together, but we work with each other daily. We're always helping each other. We're always trying to, help get each other's people in there and that kind of stuff. It's just such an incredible teamwork oriented company that it has been really, it just blows my mind how it is. I've only met, a couple of people in this business who their main goal isn't to help other people, and they don't care about whether they get money out of it. They're just here to help people. The money, that's something that that'll be here down the road. We're not worried about that. And that's been a blessing, because I know there's a lot of people in a lot of the other industries and such that I've been in that they won't give you the time of day unless they're getting paid for it. And that's, that's refreshing to see that it's so much different in that regard. And, I'm curious about something. Before I ask my next question, I'd like to ask Paul and Sean and Dan if they have any comments. If they've got anything for you to that whatever you've said, maybe it's spurred something in their brain cell and they want to let it out. So.
Well, I had piped in and asked Sean what his rank was, and I believe he said 6A4-2. Is that correct, Philip?
Yeah, my rank is 4-2.
And but more than that, I always I heard the years, and and I'm a numbers guy, and I'm fascinated by geometric and progressive growth. And do you even, this is probably off the wall question, but do you even have any idea 10 years ago? I mean, what was Enagic doing? 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 machines a month? 1,000 machines?
Maybe a couple of thousand, maybe. I don't really recall. I know I've seen that before, but I think
it was around like 2013 or 14 that they started hitting that 5-figure mark.
Yeah.
But up until then, it was pretty lean.
Very, very small.
It was pretty thin.
If Philip was around in 2009, I would be very surprised if they were even doing 1,500 machines a month, which is very
Correct.
Cool. I'm sure that you can appreciate where it's come to. But I always get fascinated by the people that have been around years, because I have so many people on my team, they go, well, you know, it's so tough and this, that, and the other, and it's so hard. And I always think about you guys, you know, there was no ORP meters and you didn't have any Shan Stratton videos talking with super athletes going, oh my God, you need this. I mean, you know, for guys like you, you know, and JJ brought it up before you got on. And I always tell people, you know, the only thing you got to do to win is not quit. And I'm sure there was a lot of times for you and you probably thought, man, what the hell am I doing?
Oh man, yeah, you can get frustrated for sure because people don't get it, and but you know, I talk to people different now than I did 9 years ago, and as you grow in the business, you learn to talk to people differently. It was a new gig for me, you know, as far as going out, and I did start with my warm market, and I recommend people start with their warm market.
For sure.
You get people a lot of times they want to go hit the big home run and you know, cold market, and that's just, you don't want to start there at all.
Trying to catch a whale when they just need to catch a mudfish, you know what I mean? A little catfish, a polecat.
Yeah, it's amazing what a handful of people selling a few machines every month will do, what that'll turn into. It's just, it's just amazing.
You know, and I know as a 4-2, you know, you get to come with you said you changed your approach, but you know, you're not at the point where every little one is a make or break. So you get to sit back and with that confidence and know that, I mean, I always tell, you know, Liz, you know, we're always talking about it, and I just say, you know, when I get a no, I don't even hear no. I just hear no, not right now, because that's not their real truth. I mean, whatever the objection is or whatever they're going through, but you know, it's my belief, and I believe that everybody in America will have one of these in 15 years. I mean, that's my belief. And I think when you look at numbers like what you've seen from 1,500 to 15,000, you know exactly where this is going. And I just appreciate people like you that stayed the course, man, because, you know, I can imagine there were some tough days, but I'm sure you're grateful every day now.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Just like, you know, a no, I'm like you, Dan, a no's not a no, it's not now. The order we just placed when I was late getting on here, this lady probably was first exposed to the water at least probably a year ago or so. Calls up here a few weeks ago, interested in going ahead and getting the machine, you know. So it's a nice little surprise. If you just do that enough, get enough people in your pipeline. Yeah.
Hey, Philip, let me ask you, you old Jedi, you know, you said something that I think was really critical for anybody coming on board. You know, you talked about how you talk differently to people now. Can you maybe share us little insights as to maybe what your approach was at first? Were you a puppy dog like me? I always kind of kid around. I was like that puppy dog on Bugs Bunny standing next to that little bulldog, and he was Spike, and he was hopping around going, hey, Spike, hey, boss, hey, boss, hey, boss. And he'd reach out and slap him and say, shut up. I felt like that dog that was just like, hey, you got to try this water. I mean, can you identify with that at all? Or were you getting slapped by Spike like I was, or what? Because most of the people I was talking to were Spike with the cigarette in the 5 o'clock shadow at noon. Yeah, that was me. How did you change your approach to the whole thing? Can you enlighten the Congan world?
I'll try, but I'll just say that I was probably real similar to you, Sean, because when we first realized this, as Sam Tran calls it, the holy grail of science, we want everybody to know about it. And so we had to puke on them. And just thankfully that some people didn't mind too much if I puked, because I was talking to friends and family, but I've learned more over the years. It's just, instead of me talking to everybody, tell them everything I know about this water and why they need it, blah, 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 I learned it from Eli and just from the different leaders. Ask questions. Asking questions is much easier. There's no pressure on me, because we're going to get around to, we ask their questions, they're going to start talking. People love to talk, as you know. And so I think I've become a better listener.
Nice.
And yeah, that's just, that evolved. That wasn't something that just clicked one time, you know. It's just through trial and error and hearing different things. But it works better that way. But it's a newbie dis-ease, I guess, to puke on everybody because we're excited, number one. And you know, if it helps you and you see the vision, then you want your best friend to see that thing too. And I'll tell you, one of my best friends today does not have a machine. Almost all of my friends do, but one of my best friends, and it was unfortunate because somebody actually talked to him first and he kind of got turned off about it. And he knew I was doing it, and I just said, hey, if you want to talk about it sometime, we will. But he's one of my older best friends. It's not like we see each other a couple of times a year. So but I'm putting him on my list. This year, I'm going to sit him down and talk to him because, quite frankly, he needs the water, you know, for a number of reasons. One, he's spending money on bottled water. One, his health would improve. And I'm not doing him a favor. I'm not a pushy guy, but he needs to hear about it. This is reminding me that, you know, not everybody gets it, but you just move on. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. No, you did. I mean, you basically communicated that you know, in the process of you learning the most effective strategies, you went from puking on people to chewing it back, asking some questions, becoming a better listener. You know, what I get from that, the same transition and transformation I went through is instead of telling them what I think they need, I've learned to ask what they think they need. And if I can help find a little happy medium in the middle, then we found a little congruence. Now we found a platform that we can both sit on the same lily pad and talk shop instead of me firing it over with my frog tongue, three lily pads across the pond, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I learned that stuff by being around enagic people, really, mostly. Just like something I haven't mentioned, another big perk of being around a while is we've got to meet so many wonderful people along this journey. And that's why we like going to the enagic events, because that's where we get to hook up with our friends from around the world we've met and people like you. And I remember hanging out with you a number of times, and you're right.
Every time we're at a convention, we end up kind of gravitating to each other.
So it's important to stay plugged in, and like this Zoom stuff you're doing, you're creating community or you're educating people. And when we started, Eli, there wasn't a whole lot, but Eli and Jelena had their weekly call. That was very instrumental and is very instrumental even to this day for me, because I can still pick up something from that. And I tell people, hey, you need to listen to that. If you're serious about helping others and growing a business, I recommend getting connected and get on the calls, go to the events, because you're going to all you got to do is pick up one thing on one of those calls that could change your business. Because I learn even from these young people that are basically what I call brand new. They might have been around a year or two, but you can pick up stuff on that. And people say, well, it's an hour every Saturday and whatever, you know, it's recorded. You can listen to it going down the road. If you want to do something, you're going to have to do something that maybe you're not used to doing. So if we're used to having a job, if we don't have somebody telling you that you have to punch in on that call at 11 o'clock or whenever it is, then it's easy not to do it, you know. But I think it's really, for us anyway, those types of things were very instrumental in helping us, one, not get discouraged and quit, right, JJ? Because it is, you can get discouraged out there. And then two, just developing that community. And I just can't imagine, like I said, what I would do if I didn't do this. I can't even imagine. We got too many friendships. We got too many pluses to ever try and think of doing something else.
I kid around and tell people after 10 years, you know, I was just right behind you guys in November of 2008. But I tell people after this ride, I'd be the worst employee ever. I'd be telling my boss to take it and tuck it with some mundane, order-driven protocol. And I'm like, hey, easy now.
Oh, yeah.
But, I think it's funny. I want to share something, too. And, hey, I want to say hi to our resident tree climber and Playgirl centerfold, Mr. Paul Nelson down there with his George Costanza pose on. How you doing, bud? Good to see you.
I'm good, brother.
Yeah, Paul, you had a question. I know you raised your hand a little bit there. I was just kind of waiting for the opportunity to get to you. But, yeah, you had a question. Why don't you go ahead and fire that out real quick?
Well, I was just going to ask Phil there. I've been getting a lot of people asking me, so how much are you making? Because they know that I haven't been applied this business to my life, and I've had my machine since 2013. So, I'm getting a lot of feedback there, and I was wondering what you guys would say to that.
Yeah, I guess I can't believe it. I think maybe I had more people ask me that in the beginning, Paul, than now. I think it's been a while since somebody actually asked me what I was making, but I think that's probably a common question when we're new. And I've heard people say, the leaders say stuff like, because it is a common question, especially you're talking to your friends or somebody if you're starting out, and well, how much money are you making? And they said that I don't remember who it was, probably Eli, but it's not about how much money I'm making. It's about how much money do you want to make,
Right.
That's kind of lame because you kind of skirt around. Oh, Eli, I'm sorry, that is not lame. That's a very good answer. But it kind of
good.
It might not even been him that said it.
Not everybody can have the prettiest girl at the dance. You know what I mean? Sometimes we got to settle for that 5 that's just really sweet and she's got a good heart. That doesn't mean that she's less valuable than the 10. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. We make different money. We do different things. I really tried to focus, to answer that question a little bit, I tried to focus on, it's not so much the money I'm making, it's the lives I'm changing.
Amen. That's what I said.
Because, unlike Phil, we've been in the same, I've moved 480 some machines. I've probably moved about 400 directly, and I'm still just a 6A. I didn't get it. I wasn't thinking about the business. I was running around trying to chase my uncle with gout and my dad with diabetes and mom with irritable bowel and cancer and all that stuff. So I wasn't really thinking about the structure and the strategery, to borrow a word from W. I was trying to focus on making people's lives better. That was my objective. So if that helps at all, for real. Yep. And Phil can attest. You want to talk about life changing? When Phil met me, I was 5'4" when I started. By the time Phil met me, I was like 5'6". Now I'm 6'9", and again, but I just didn't get any better looking. I was hoping for that more than the height thing. But hey, what do? You roll with it like Steve Winwood told you to, and you make the best of it.
Amen, brother.
I think you're looking younger, Sean, for sure. So, Paul, Sean's that's the best answer.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Say, when I'm in Paris next time, I want to come and visit you.
You come to Paris, Arkansas?
I was just there with my daughter. Yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
I missed Sam by one day. I was flying when he was doing his event.
Oh, I'll be darned. Yeah, you bet. Definitely look me up.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Where are you at, Paul?
I'm up north of Seattle, Washington.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What's your rank?
I'm almost a 4A. I'm three short of a 4A, and I've got a trifecta I'm trying to close.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
4A. I'll give you a little encouragement. I didn't get a business. My first 6A didn't join our team until I was a 4A. So all my sales between 1A and 4A, majority were me. A couple of people might have referred 1 or 2 out of those 20. But, I didn't get anybody that really saw the mission and wanted to run with us until I was a 4A. So you're doing fine. They'll
That's
come
the
around.
trouble I'm having. No, my buddy Dan there told me never give up. So I've give up a couple times, and I'm not giving up this time. So
no, you're just re-greasing your zerts, Paul. You're just sitting back. You're in the shop. You're tweaking a few things in the engine. You're tuning up that horse-powered machine you got. You're going to get back on the road again. You just got to get your car up off of blocks. Hey,
giddy up.
Kostica, to pimp Jerry's scene a little bit, you guys. He always said this is something for once you get to be a 4A, this is where you really want to start turning it on. So, yeah, Kostica is, you know, he's been so tremendously helpful with the development of these resources.
Amen.
Get your hand on this on 6A, what is it, 6A info or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah, that should help you once you're at that level of ready to party, you know.
Yeah, man. You guys rock, brother.
Yeah, well, you know, this is
you roll.
This is some great stuff. I love it because a lot of the times, or most of the times when we're doing these shows, they're usually about health issues and that kind of stuff. And so it's kind of nice. It's enlightening, and it provides a little bit of a unique experience to be talking a little bit more about the business side of things, because, you know, that's what Bill Powers was talking about when he was on the show last week. Is he was saying, I think we're all doing ourselves a disservice by not talking more about the business side of this company, because, you know, we're so focused on helping people change their health that we're not paying as much attention to their wealth. And, you know, quite frankly, that might be the more valuable area for us to be trying to focus. And so I'm actually trying to focus a little bit more on the business side of things. And I'm hoping to get Dan to come on in here one of these days and, you know, maybe just do a whole session of just business stuff, talking about, you know, things that can help people with the business. And so, you know, that's something that I know is going to come soon enough in its time frame. And so that's definitely one of the goals that we're trying to work on. And, you know, now I've got a fun question that I love to ask to everybody, Phil. And it's interesting, all the different answers that we get to this one. But you're out there and you got somebody that maybe they're on the fence, maybe they're curious, whatever. And you got an opportunity to talk to them about this company, about this product, but you've only got one thing that you get to say, only one. What is it?
How long do I have to say that one thing?
You got as much time as you need, brother.
Value based.
If I have one thing to say, I would probably say that we need to go have lunch where we can visit for a while, because it's hard for me with one thing, unless it depends on how well I know this prospect, right? Because I don't, like Sean said, I don't know what they need. Now, in the beginning, I would have probably said, if I needed to say one thing, I would say, you've got to try this water. It's amazing. And that's pretty lame too there, but probably in the beginning, that's probably something that I would have done, because I was excited about the water. And I was excited about the prospect of growing a business. I've always kind of been entrepreneurial, but I've always mostly had a job, you know. But I was always on the side looking for something, you know. I need to get out of a job. I don't want to. So I was excited about the water, what I'd seen it had done for people. And so if I was going to say one thing, I would just say, if I can say anything to you, don't dismiss this. We need to talk about this water sometime.
Yeah.
What kind of answers do you get?
You know, all kinds of things from, you know, your health is the most important thing, to you've got to see this business, to I want to get to know them first. What do they want? What do they need? Before I can come up with any one thing to talk to them about, I need to know what they want. And so, yeah, we've had everything from I got to shove it down your throat to I need to find out who you are and what you're looking for, what what turns your crank before I can come up with the one thing to say to you.
And I ultimately have really learned to just say, at the end of the day, man, it's not if you're going to get this technology, it's when. So it's my job to help accelerate that window from the if in your mind to the when in reality. That's what I was dropping on people like a big fat worm into a lake, you know what I mean? That's what I was doing this last weekend on my fishing hook, and it's not if, but when,
Yeah.
Now this has always been such a powerful little area of I think this, when we get to this question, is where we've probably had, 80+% of the value of this place come out in full galore, because just that's where we get the tips and the tricks and the things that try to kind of help us stop from puking on each other and puking on people everywhere we go. We call ourselves a bunch of water snobs, and the truth is I'm a water snob, and I was like you. I never drank water. I never drank water. The only time I would ever drink water is if I was on a river trip or if I was sick. That's the only time. And, because on a river trip, water is part of the protocol. You're out there in the wild, and you simply cannot afford to get dehydrated. So you've got to drink water. And other than that, I was like, yeah, whatever, water. I get water from whiskey. Hell, I get water from Sprite and Coke and coffee and all that stuff. It's all got water in it. So I don't need water. I never drink water. And when I made the investment into the Kangen water machine, it all of a sudden completely shifted my mindset, because my thought process went from water's water, blah, 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 to I just spent $4,000. My God, I'm going to drink the water, And so that's what happened. I started drinking the water, and lo and behold, allergies went away, heartburn went away, things that I didn't even, probably the biggest gift of all was the barometer that I used to have in my knee. I've had 3 knee surgeries on this left knee of mine, and I'm a carpet installer and tile setter by trade for the last 30 years.
Wow.
And so running around on a busted up knee, it was quite painful. And I always could tell when the weather was going to change. I always knew when there was a storm coming in, because my knee would be throbbing so bad that I'd have to take pain pills and that kind of stuff. And I don't have that anymore. It was only like 3 weeks in or so, a month or so into drinking the water, that I realized, holy moly, I don't have that barometer anymore. This is cool. And, so the health benefits were things that I didn't even realize were problems. I thought heartburn was something that's just normal. That's the way it is. You go get Tums, you go get Maalox, I'd go on river trips and take 6 different kinds of antacid with me, because that's what you do. That's how you deal with it. It's not a health problem. It's just a normal thing of life. And I didn't realize how bad of a health problem it really was until I started drinking this water. So that's where I went with it. And, and the whole thing about quitting and that, it's like Sam says, someone comes up to him and says, "Hey, Sam, you still doing that water thing?" And he's like, "Well, are you still doing that breathing thing?" We're never going to quit doing this. The people that get involved with this family and they drink the water, they become so passionate about it that there's no way they can stop. There's no way you can stop with this water, just because you realize how important it is. And on the other hand, as far as the business is concerned, I think that this is the hardest business that I've ever been in my life. It is by far and away the most difficult thing I've ever done. And why is that? It's just simply because of the fact that we have something that is so special and so important, that it is so hard and so heartbreaking when you see people especially in your family, your friends, that they won't pay attention. They won't look. And it hurts. It does. It hurts, especially for people when you care about somebody and they won't pay attention to the very thing that's the answer to their prayers, and you see them constantly complaining about this and that and the other, and here you have, you know, the Holy Grail. You have the answer to their prayers, and they won't look. And, you know, having one of your best friends tell you there's no way in hell that I will ever buy that machine because it's sold by one of them pyramid schemes, and I'm never going to do it. I'm sorry. No, it's never going to happen. And it just, that kind of stuff is heartbreaking just because of the fact that you love that person so much, and you know that you're going to see them suffering down the line, and that part hurts. But
JJ, can I tell you, didn't Carly Simon write a song about that? Indoctrination. Hey, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, listen, and I've got to help you understand this, and I don't know if my man's Phil's a whiskey cat or not, but I was a whiskey Coke, whiskey Sprite guy, but just not to advocate any exceptional drunkenness by any stretch. However, we all have learned, or anybody that likes the whiskey, the water with the whiskey, my Lord, it's like maple syrup on pancakes. And I mean, listen, I'll save a bottle, I'll buy a new bottle, I'll pour it in and half it up, and then I'll slow roll the bejesus out of that 9.5 into each respective bottle, put it away, and then just nibble on it whenever an occasion presents itself. Nobody ever knows. I should open a bar and just start conganizing all my drinks. I'd be making money hand over fist. Hey, all you bar owners, if that's what it takes to get you guys on board, then I just dropped it like it was hot.
I love it. I just love that so much. And,
hey, Kangen water improves everything now. So even whiskey.
Amen. That's what I tell people every day. Kong makes everything better, and I can prove it. Because
hey, get this story, good boys. Check this out. I've been taking water to the girls at the espresso stand I go to every morning. Well, this 17-year-old, she hasn't been there. She asked me yesterday morning, "What's up with your water?" And I said, "Well, it's fantastic water. It'll detox you. It'll clean you out, blah, blah, blah." I went on, and she's like, "Hey, I haven't pooped in like 4 or 5 days. Do you think that it would help me out there?" I said, "Let me go get you a jug. Let's see." So I'm going back this morning to see if it helped her. She told me sometimes she hasn't pooped in months, guys.
What?
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's pretty common. I've heard that a lot.
And I told her, at 17 years old, like, "You can sell these things?" And I said, "Heck yeah." She said, "Hell, I could sell the shit out of those." I'm like, "Yay, man." That is a cool story. Awesome. I had to share it.
That is an awesome story.
Yeah.
Literally, Paul, she can sell the shit out of these.
Bro, I couldn't believe she said that. I haven't pooped in 4 days.
Oh, man.
Oh, that is crazy.
That's the thing. Any of us that are on Kangen water, no matter the storytelling yarns we can weave together, nobody, and I mean nobody, can tell us we're full of shit anymore.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
it's eliminated daily.
This has been a fun show, and Phil, I want to say thank you so much for
Amen.
Valuable time to come here and visit with us and drop some nuggets on us and, you know, tell your story. And I want to, one of the things about this that a lot of people realize now, but one of my goals is to unite people because you never know who's going to resonate with who. You never know who's out there that's going to see this, that because of your stories, because of you saying what you're saying today, that all of a sudden the light bulb in their brain cell comes on, and now they want to get involved and they want to work with this Phil Harp dude from Arkansas, man. He rocks, and they want to meet him. They want to learn from him. They want to be part of his team. And so I always ask everybody at the end to give out whatever contact information they would like to give. But I also want people that are hearing this to understand that if you're going to get a hold of Phil Harp, you're going to say friend him up on Facebook or something like that because you want to get involved with him. Just please, if you do that, make sure that you send him a message along with that friend request and you let him know, hey, Phil, I I saw you with those crazy rascals on that Kong Family show, and I thought that was pretty awesome, and I want to work with you, and that's why I'm sending you a friend request. And you know, if you send him a voicemail or anything like that, please just give him the common courtesy of letting him know why you're calling him, why you're touching base with him, why you're sending him the email, so that he knows what's going on. And then with all that said, Phil, I'd like to give you the opportunity right now to give away whatever information you would like as far as contact info, in case there's somebody that's going to be seeing this down the road that they decide they want to work with you. I want them to be able to work with you if that's what they want to do. And so how do they get a hold of you? What do they do to get a hold of Phil?
Well, JJ, that's awesome. But you know, if somebody sees this, I don't want to like take people's prospects. You know what I mean? I'm just doing this to help you guys. Because if they see it, it's probably somebody you invited to watch. Is that right or no? Is that how this works?
No, because we're gonna have you start sending people onto this scene. This is a family deal, man. You know, that's the deal. We're not worried about it. It's the matter. Our objective is to get the Kongan word out, and if we're blessed enough to be able to have people of your caliber sharing your perspective, sharing your story, we're all going to win in the end anyway. So we really do guys, like if you feel like sharing your info.
Yeah,
drop it.
I love helping people get on this Enagic train for sure. So my best way to reach me is by phone, 479-263-1390. And I am on Facebook, so I can do a little text stuff, not a whole lot, but I can get messages and stuff on Facebook. And yeah, feel free to reach out to me. But I'll tell you what, you guys, for doing this, you know it, Sean, and I hope JJ knows it, that kind of heart and that kind of service, it has to come back to you. That's just the law. You see?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think, Phil, I think I've probably sold more machines for other people than I have for myself. I actually had a lady that came and got water from me for a couple of weeks, and then she ended up going and getting a machine from somebody else because she was pissed off at my upline. And I just told her, hey, congratulations. I'm so happy for you that you got the machine. That's the important part, is you got a machine.
Yeah.
I don't really care where people get their machine from. I'm more concerned that they get their machine. And I figure, because I understand the laws of attraction and the laws of positive motivation, positive thinking, the whole laws of what comes around goes around and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that. And so I just know with the trajectory where this company is going, that whether one person or another buys a machine from me or whatever, it doesn't matter. Enough people are going to want to buy machines through me, my team in the end. And so you're
exactly right.
Concerned about that. I just want people to get calm. It's the most important thing that a human being can do for themselves, for their family and that kind of stuff. And I've come full circle with understanding that. And my driving force is my mom. I miss her. She died back in 1990 of a rare form of spinal meningitis. It was caused by the fact that she was garbling down freaking 22 different poisons every day that her doctors gave her, and developed a cyst on the backside of one of her kidneys and poisoned her spinal fluid and turned her into a vegetable. And in 4 days she was gone. And I really and truly believe, I know that had I known about this water, had I been able to get this water in her body, that barring some sort of catastrophic accident or something, she'd still be here with me today. But you know, it is what it is. I learned about it when I learned about it, and all I can do now is just use that as a driving force to help other people. And I figure by doing this is one of the best things, the best ways that I can help other people, that I can unite people, that I can get people who resonate with each other to resonate with each other, to get together, to make it happen, to go change the world. Because we're going to change the world. We're doing it. And we're watching it happen every single day. And it's all because of people like you, people like Sean, people like Dan, people like Liz, people like just all the people that have been around, that are going to come around. And And I figure that if I can get people on here and they share their stories, that'll make other people want to come on and share their stories. I've got quite a few people that I'm really just dying to get on the show, but they won't come on for whatever reason. I don't know. But I figure as long as I stay consistent, keep doing it, that eventually they're going to go, you know what, maybe I'm missing the boat here. Maybe I need to go visit with those rascals and go share my story, you know? And so that's what it's all about for me. And as a final closing thing, I like to give everybody that comes on as our special guest, just give them an opportunity to say, hey, you know, is there any last final thing that you'd like to leave with people before we close this down today? Is there any last, you know, something that you'd like to be, you know?
I'll just say, well, first of all, thank you so much for letting me be on and meeting you guys and sharing with you. And the one thing that it's already been mentioned today, but is this type of business can be discouraging, but if we stay connected, the key is to don't quit, because there's always tomorrow. There's always somebody out there. It may not be who we think it is, but there's somebody out there needing to hear what we have to say. And we just got to trust that the Lord's going to put them in front of us and move on. And I'll also say that I hope I get to see some of you guys out in San Diego next month. We're going to be out there for the Sapphire anniversary. And if you haven't, this one, I guess it's a little pricey to get out there for us anyway, flying to San Diego. But what we did, we rented a VRBO or an Airbnb and splitting it up between 5 people. And so it made it pretty affordable. We're just I think less than 10 minutes from the convention center. So if you can get out there, I would recommend it, especially if you haven't seen an Enagic anniversary event. It's not so much sales tips as much as just getting to know the people and the company, and that there's a lot. I got to give a lot of credit to that. Even though it's not tangible, you go out there and you spend money to go, but what you gather from that is just, it's hard to put a money value on it. It's
amazing.
Very important for us. And I understand people can't always make them all the time, and we don't make them all the time, but I mean, it's important at least once a year for us to try and get together with our Enagic family, you know. So maybe if you see me out there, if you're going, you got my number here, so text me or call me and we'll hook up.
Yeah, I sure wish I could. I don't know. I've still got that thing in my sights as far as hopefully being able to go there. I registered for the Las Vegas event just literally like a week or so before I found out about this.
Okay.
Event. And I'm not sure that I'll be able to put them both
together,
but who knows? You never know what's going to happen over the next month and you know, what's going to come along. And
well, maybe we'll see you in Vegas.
Yeah, I'll definitely be in Vegas. I got my tickets already bought for that, and I've got a good friend that lives in Vegas, and I'm only 6 hours away from Vegas and driving, and so I just drive down there and stay with my buddy that lives down there. And
nice.
You know, so Vegas is always a really good one for me to be able to go to. But
those are good events. Those are good events that Fred does, and I mean those I like too, because you will get some specific nuts and bolts training, you know, at those type of events. So anyway. Yeah.
Fred's going to be coming on the show here soon, and he says he wants to get Dr. Filtzer on. So I'm pretty excited about that. I got some really good information from them. What's that, Dan? Go ahead, buddy. Oh, he must have had to take off. But yeah, Phil, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show with us today. Really appreciate all your great information, and you know, it's definitely something that is motivating to hear your story, where you came from and where you've gone, where you're going. And it just, you know, when you see people having that kind of success, for me, I love seeing other people's success, because it reaffirms for me that I can have success too. And
Absolutely.
I know that it's there. I know that it's coming. And like Dan said, the only way you're going to fail at this business is if you quit. And that ain't happening. Quitters never win and winners never quit.
There
So
you go. Yeah.
you know, we're the winners, and that's what we're rocking with, brother. So yeah, we are the Kong family. We just have this simple little goal. We just want to change the world. And how are we doing that again, Sean?
One glass of 9.5 at a time, if you please.
Yes, and one lightning bolt in a box, and one awesome individual, one incredible family at a time. And Phil, once again, thank you so much.
Thanks, Phil.
Your wife, a big hug for us.
Yeah. Yeah, Phil, you're beautiful, man. It's sure good to see your mug. Sure good to feel your energy. Godspeed, continued success. Keep taking, you know, it's funny. I look at these guys right here. Geez Louise, you've got some of the most compassionate, thoughtful human beings I know, period. And to be able to bring us all together in this forum, hey, it's going to ripple, man. This is the splash. The ripple's coming. Mm-hmm. So having a guy of your caliber on board, sharing your sincerity, your authenticity, your no BS nonsense, you're just as straight from the cuff as a white boy needs to be, doll. So I appreciate that very much, and it's just really a pleasure to see you and get to kind of hang out and engage. We can't have a Mountain Dew together, but no, look forward to dialing in again, man.
Hey, I appreciate you for my friend, and we'll stay in touch.
You know it, bud.
Okay.
Thanks,
right,
guys. Make it a great
rock
day.
and roll, JJ. Nice work, you old vet.
Thank you.
Don't forget your hugs. Don't forget your hugs. HooDeeHoooo! Love you guys. Make it a great one.
Bye-bye.
All right, word.
Bye for now.